Hello everyone, today is March 14th, 3/14, pi, if you will, if you're one of those type of people. But anyway, I wanted to give you a nice sunny day out here. It's probably maybe 52 degrees. It was unseasonably hot for this time of year, but I wanted to give you a little tour of the farm almost a year later. Hopefully the wind noise isn't too bad. If it is, I'll just dub over it. But anyway, let me give you a tour of the farm of what it looks like now compared to a year ago, and give you a bit of an update about some projects that we want to do this year. Alrighty. Starting in the front, if you see in the front there, beyond the cars and the trees, we have the new gate. We got that put in last November, so now virtually the whole property is fenced in. The fence, windows again, is not too bad. But the bottom fence there, that's the bottom of the fenced in property, but I own all the way out to there, below the pond. But as you can see, it's very wet down in there. Alright, other projects this year. Right in the front here, this big giant flower bed area where there was never any flowers or anything planted. We're going to remove these. I'm going to remove these ties, dig this out, maybe back 3.5, 4 feet. Put the what do they call them? The ties back up in there to change, so we don't have to park here. We can park over here. I mean, we can park over by the shop, but it's nice to park right in the front here. But if we can make an area here to put 1 or 2 cars and then put a nice flower bed in, that's the way to go. Alright, on this side, if you can picture, last year there used to be all kinds of trash here. Poles, wood, everything. Same thing over here where we have our horse trailer. There used to be all kinds of crap, old gates. Actually, the old door that used to go on this used to be here. But since then, I cleaned this area out nicely, and we have our horse trailer parked there. And then actually here, this, as well as in the back, on the other side of where the tractor is, we got garage doors installed. Project for this year is possibly work on these windows, and possibly put some eaves trough, some rain spouts on here. Over here, if you can picture, there used to be continual junk. Now we have another horse trailer parked there. That one won't be staying. That will be going at the end of March when one of the horses that we have boarded here leaves. Down here, this is an ongoing project, the water issue. We had our downspouts replaced everywhere on the farm last year because it needed it. The arena here, front and back, didn't even have one, and the water would just pool there and it would get real wet. But this helps. And however, this here used to go across the door, tie into that, and then just go out into the paddock, which that is an issue because when we get rain here, we get rain a lot and it just all runs. So basically I put this downpipe in, and this is just a quick fix for last year. Put in this flex drain here to this drain here. As I was saying, in here, basically, I have this flex pipe here with the sock on it. Right now the water is still pooling here because you may say, well, why isn't this water going? Well, I've been working at this. I got about maybe 6 feet this way into the pipe. It's still frozen. I mean, mind you, we are only in the 2nd week of March, so the ground is still frozen. So I've been working at this little by little by forcing a hose into here with hot water. But eventually this will thaw out, and the plan is to put a continual of this flex pipe with the perforation with the sock along this whole area, because you can see this is where the water sits, and then backfill some of this and get some new gravel in here. That way all the water that comes and regrade this a bit, all the water that comes off of here will go into here, into some gravel, into this sock, or into the pipe, and go underneath and exit. Another project that we have is we used to have a solar fence charger, but that kind of quit on us last year. I'm not sure, something fried in the board. I'm not sure if water got in or what, but it was an outdoor one. But anyway, this one here inside this little tote is an AC fence charger. It does, I don't know, maybe 10 miles, so more than we'll ever use. But anyway, it's not an outdoor one, so I have it inside this tote here, attached to this post. And then for right now through the winter, we just had, because this happened in the middle into the late fall last year, so we didn't have time or the money to go out and buy a new solar charger for $300. This is one we had, an old one for $60 that used to control the back paddock, which I got a replacement for $30 on sale. But anyway, so right now we just run in this extension cord Same thing, running extension cord to tie into the trough heater when we had the horses out here. Right now this is still too muddy, so the horses, if you can see them, they're not there. We'll go back there later. They're out back. So the goal for this year, excuse me, is to move this fence charger along with the grounding wire, which is grounded in here. Remove the grounding wire, bury it, rebury it, and attach it to this pole. And then that way both plugs for both things are right here. And then I got some conduit and wire today, put an outdoor electrical box here, run the conduit, basically following the extension cord, and then tie into the electrical system inside the barn. That way we can drive over this without any worry. That way we don't have to worry about extension cords next year. An outdoor outlet that has closable weatherproof covers, so when they're not in use, like in the summertime we're not going to be using the trough heater, that one can stay shut and no moisture can get in there. While we're here, here's one of our barn cats. You've seen him in videos before. Hey buddy. Anyway, the pipe that I talked about that we had over there from the downspout comes out right down there. And as you can see, this is also where the water flows into this ditch all the way down into this mess. Down here, this is another ongoing project I'll touch on in a second, but basically where this downspout hooks on from here and this, I'm going to join them together somewhere out in here. This is all probably with flex pipe or hard pipe, I'm not sure. Bury it about a foot deep, and then basically run it all the way down along the fence row to right about there. There's like a little bit of a knoll, and have it exit there, and then trench it down into the field. On the other side of this fence, there's a natural trench, just from the way the water goes and it erodes. But since we're planning on putting, again, another project, from the third pole in, all the way up, straight up to here, to fence this in to give us this paddock back. In the meantime, I started digging. This is all the aged horse compost that I touched on last year that's in the garden. I still have quite a few yards to get out of here because it's just so soft that there's no way you could put animals in there. It'd be way too dangerous. But anyway, so trenching the water, I'm not sure what you want to call it, getting the water situation figured out is number one. And then getting this out of here is number two. And then out back here, there's not much going on, except in the paddock behind the lake, or actually on this side of the lake. You can't see it from here, but on the other side where the horses are, that needs to be fenced. That was never fenced yet as far as electrical. I mean, you need some we have to take some barbed wire off of the perimeter fence, but fence that, and also possibly run water line down into there, which we're putting a big trough. I have water run along on the other side of this canopy here that was here, so we just hook a hose up to a quick connect, and then it goes right along the barn or the arena and dumps right in. We just got to tie into that, bury a water line down to there. And again, these water lines and stuff that I'm talking, they're all mainly for the summer. Wintertime, it won't work because they'll freeze. I mean, I can't be burying, I don't have the equipment or the money or the know-how in a sense to hire someone or do it myself to bury water line 4 feet deep, which is what the frost line is here, roughly. However, this year I don't think we've got down below 2 feet, as it's 55 degrees in the second week of March. As we walk to the back, there's one of our other barn cats, Peach, we call her. This year I did grade fairly well last year. I mean, whenever it's wet, I had the tractor out yesterday. You get a little bit of rutting, but I mean, that will go away. Because this is actually hardening up pretty good for only thawing out for a few days now. So anyway, I mean, I'd love to get a couple tons or many tons of gravel in here, you know, your A gravel or whatever you call it, half-inch, inch gravel, and redo or add to this whole area, but it would just cost way too much money and way too much time. Mainly money. Alright, as you walk to the back here, this all looks the same from last year. This door needs to be replaced. It's an old door, it needs to be replaced. If you can see beyond where the white fence part is, it's on the other side of this, that's a small paddock, and that goes into the large paddock in the back, and that paddock goes from all the way here all the way out to where I showed you before. So it's the biggest paddock here, but it needs some major work to shore up, not here, but to shore up the fence line, and also put some electrical line in there, and I have to put 2 more gates on. That way we can use that paddock, which will be great because there's tons of grass, and then during the summertime we don't feed the horses hay because they eat the grass, but you got to rotate them because the horses will really decimate even a paddock like of that size in just a matter of a week or two, and they need to be rotated. Anyway, back here, this is a little muck ramp I made. We can just take our wheelbarrows and trailer and just dump it there, and then I scoot it with the tractor, take it down to the back. But anyway, here's a project. If you can see, this is where I had my wood that we bought, or that we got this year for the fire. However, the issue is as soon as there's no guttering on here. So as soon as it would rain, or we get snow on this roof or on here, and then it would melt, it would all just drip off. So I will need to get a permit to put a little wood area on here. Ontario is really strict with their, I guess, laws and regulations. So right there you're looking at $150 to extend this roof out and put some posts and put some walls on it. So I may just get some guttering and then just gutter that and then just run a pipe out this way or into the paddock or something. I'm not exactly sure yet. And this paddock here, which we did a lot of work to last year, is still in pretty, I mean it's wet, but it's in good shape. It won't need any work. The only thing that we will need to do is we need to fix this gate, because through the winter this bottom bolt kind of tore out of this. So we're looking into getting a different gate, a lighter one, which we do have, and possibly attaching it to this post here, or just re-drilling these holes to use it, because the lighter weight ones are so much better, and they don't need to be that strong because the horses never really test the gate, especially if it opens in. There's no way they can push it out unless they break the bolts off, which I don't think that would happen. Anyway, just quickly wrapping up here. This is the big garden, as you remember, and then over here we have the small garden. And I think last year in other videos I said about this is where I'm going to be planting my my fruit this year, raspberries, strawberries, what have you. But I can't. I kind of put this plot here. If you can remember, probably don't, but this is where all that junk wood used to be, and I burned all of that last year. And then in getting ready to do something with this spot, I kind of just tilled it up, made it into a garden spot, and long story short, I shouldn't have just gone ahead and did that because there have been other plans that already have been set aside for this. But anyway, we are hoping to get some more of these ties, which we have a lot down here. I moved them, and put possibly some raised beds in, and maybe put a fence row for our seedling trees that we're going to buy at the end of April to let them mature for maybe 2, 3, 4 years before we transplant them out. But the rest of this, probably at least 3/4 of it will be planted with grass seed in the springtime, and then this will all be nice and full of grass. Over here, this is my garden. This upper section here looks different. This is where I just tilled this up last fall, actually, where I'm going to be planting my potatoes this year. You can see the aged compost down there, and there we got another muck pile down there. However, out here, in between those 4 stakes, if you can kind of see them, that is the area that I'm going to work this year to try to get another plot going, or at least part of it. I'm getting a middle buster and a subsoiler. Hopefully the subsoiler will be able to help break up some of this hard pan and get through this clay to let this water drain a bit. Because even in the middle of the summer last year, July, August, when we had no rain for about 6, 8 weeks, it was still wet in there. If you take a tractor in there, you'd see the moisture on your tires and you start making ruts. And also there, and then also on the other side of here, this stretch here is my primary spot to put my berries this year. It's pretty flat, pretty dry, probably one of the better spots that we have here that's flat, that I don't have to worry about water too much. And then, depending on how things work out, depending on how money is and what have you, this is where I'd put my greenhouse if I put it. Again, I don't know if that's going to happen this year. It's going to cost quite a bit of money, plus permit issues, and not issues, but permits and all that cost quite a bit. So that may be a project for 2013, or maybe never. We'll see. But basically, here's the garden. If y'all can remember that. And hopefully in, what is it, 1, 2, 3 months, 3, 4 months from now, this is packed full of vegetables and things are producing. Alright, well that's basically some of the projects and some of the progress that we've made on the farm in the past year. Mainly it was the first, I don't know, 6 months actually, because once winter hit we didn't really do much outside because we couldn't. A lot of stuff is about digging up the land, putting in piping and stuff, and you can't do that when the ground's 2 foot thick frozen. But anyway, that's a little bit of the update that I have. If there's any questions about, you want to see anything else more in depth, leave it in the comments. So yeah, I can't wait for summer to come, and we're hitting 90-degree days in June. That would be nice. I like the heat. Alright, thanks for watching.